On behalf of Breck School, I greet you with great pleasure and sincere affection. Now, seniors, why don't you just take a moment to relax and cool off, while protocol and my own wishes require the further greeting of our friends and guests. Welcome to the Board of Trustees. We appreciate your presence and commitment. I greet and salute the faculty. Each of you possesses special gifts and has been called to shoulder genuine burdens. At times, you've been in lonely spots, even scary ones, and there are moments when you've wondered, who cares, and why bother? But it is your nature to be nurturing, and it is your style to be supportive, and you have created and you have cared. I greet and thank the support staff of this school, who are the backbone of this family. You have kept us in order, typed, recorded, cleaned, fed, and even handle our paychecks. You handle crises regularly, but you serve as important models within our community. You are appreciated and respected. To you, the faculty and the staff, you share the visions and participate in the dreams and reality of this wonderful world and business that we're in called education. Now for this evening, you touch down on the other side of the rainbow, warmed with the golden understanding that this wonderful band of young men and young women have made it, and each of you has made a difference. It's a pleasure, as always, to greet the parents and guardians of our students. Your presence is so important and welcomed. We share your pride in these young people about to graduate, and thank you for your trust and confidence in them and in us. As I look at you seniors, I'm reminded of the words on the base of the Statue of Liberty, "Yo huddled masses yearning to breathe free." I've attended a number of graduations, and I must confess that I haven't remembered a lot that has been said, but making the same mistake or hoping to make a difference, I will continue to hope that I can say something that you will remember. And I would ask seniors that when you remember today and you remember Breck School, please let the hurts and disappointments fade, and let one truth come to the fore. People here cared about you. You were loved. Each of you can acknowledge moments when that was clear, when an instructor tutored you, when a teacher gave the extra time, when in the midst of a game you knew that you were part of a team, when you were in a classroom, cabin, or on the lake, you knew you had a friend. Yes, you have been loved. No one can take those moments from you. Hold on to them carefully, hold on to them forever. We know that there's even more for you: caring, sharing, helping, contributing, showing comfort and kindness, taking the opportunity to serve others, to be needed and appreciated. There is beauty and freedom and happiness in abundance. You will find more friends, loyal, good, and true. When you look for and live for the best, you will celebrate with justifiable pride your success and achievement. And of course, you will know love, the responsible attitude of caring for others and being cared for yourself. So today, seniors, each of you has my best wishes, and tomorrow and beyond, you will be held in my prayers. But I would ask you to begin this ceremony by joining with me with your parents and thanking the faculty and staff for their care and commitment in bringing us to this stage.
Well, 45 minutes or so in the senior year's history. I should know I'm an historian. The graduation committee asked if I could reflect a bit on your class. It's not hard to reflect on your class. I've kind of taken ownership of this group because when I first came to Breck 3 years ago, you were the first group I really got to know. First in the classroom, and then in my office. And you remember, in those days, you had a bad reputation. I can even remember, Michael, when we went off to camp, that was my first camp too, that fall, there was an issue about the identity of the class of 1987. Were they goodies or were they baddies? And I think we've come to believe that you're goodies. But this class, from that time on, at least in my opinion, has been an interesting one, a fun-loving one, and an affectionate one. And you've really been a joy to work with. There have been really good times, the fun times, the bad times, the sad times. I know just in my office alone, I've listened to two people grapple with the very basic question as to whether they should be at Breck or not. We've talked that over. Some have stayed, some have left. We've talked about personal issues, we've talked about family issues. There have been crises, and we've worked through them. There have been times when you've just been sad. And then there have been lots of times when you've been happy. And there were many occasions when you dropped into the upper school office to see Mike Weisel, John Howard, Ann Young, me, just to have fun. And I think we did have fun. And I think it was your willingness to come in and have fun that has made being at Breck a good experience for me, because it hasn't just been the bad. It's been the good as well. I think what has given your class character, and I think what I have always liked about your class most, is the fact that you've made a lot of mistakes. There have been problems, but you have had the ability to admit to mistakes, to ask why the mistakes were made, and to do something about it. And consequently, you've grown. You've grown a lot. I really can't, imagine a class that has changed as much in the matter of 3 short years. Those are my reflections. Now I'm going to burden you with a graduation cliche, and that is, you're not done. And every graduating class hears that. And you get advice. And I kind of wanted to just follow very briefly some of the ideas that you heard from your friend George Johnson at Baccalaureate. He talked about happiness, satisfaction, in the context of your adult life, and that there was more to life than material gain. I agree with that. I think there are some other areas that lead to satisfaction in your adult life. One, like George pointed out, is your interpersonal relationship, meaning family, friends, community. Beyond that, you have the area of your vocation. Are you going to be happy with what you're doing? Another area, I think, which is a key to happiness in your adult life is being satisfied with who you are. And who you are, of course, involves a spiritual part of you, an emotional part of you, and an intellectual part of you. And I choose right now just to concentrate on the intellectual part of you because I've got about 2 minutes. I ignore the vocational part of your adult life because demographers and futurists are telling us that your generation of college-educated people will probably switch jobs 5 times in your working lifetime, which tells me you're not going to have a whole lot of job satisfaction. Which tells me that you're going to have to find other areas, you're going to have to develop these other areas that I mentioned, the interpersonal areas and the self, to be happy. And I want you to think about your minds tonight, just for a moment. Because I think a lot of young people go off to college with the idea that college is merely a preparation for your vocational interest, what you're going to do in the working world. It is partly that, but it's much more. It is a training ground. It is an exercise field for your intellect. We have become a intellectually complacent society. I don't think there's any doubt of it. If you look at the lack of any sort of political dialogue in this country today, you can see that. You've got to train your minds. You've got to do that for yourself and for the community. And when you go to college, it is, of course, a wide variety of experiences, but don't go at it mechanically. Dig into it. Think. Exchange ideas. Because when you get older, unless you're able to work through subtleties, work through debate, look into the condition of society and think about it, you will then resort to complacency in one area of your life which can give you satisfaction, give you pride, which is pride in yourself, will be missing. So that's my brief little message. I'm going to miss you all, and I wish you luck.
Well, it's time for the class gift. And I won't keep you in suspense. Thomas has it right there. When we were trying, the 4 of us, when we were trying to decide what we wanted to give as a class, we wanted something that would start a tradition. That sounds kind of silly. You can't really start a tradition. They just sort of happen. But I guess Breck likes to start them, so. This is our gift. It's going to be called the Centennial Banner. If you look on the back of your programs, it says it there. It's reversible. Flip it around. It'll be used each year for only twice. It'll be used to lead the seniors in at baccalaureate and graduation. In closing, I'd like to say each year, every graduating class seems to think that it was better than the one before it. And, you know, I don't know if that could be true. But we are Breck's 100th class, contrary to what they said last year. And I'd like to take my hat off, if that's kosher, to the class of 1987, who was truly 1 in 100. I salute you. I also, like Wayne, I've been forced on pain of death to mention Mike Cavanaugh, Matt Adelot, Face, and Darren. That's it.
Well, the big moment has finally arrived. The last bell is rung. Classrooms are empty now. Your books are closed, probably never to be opened again. Your final game has been played. The athletic fields, the gyms are all silent now. The athletic equipment has been turned in, stored away, waiting for another Breck team to claim it. There's an eerie silence that permeates the halls. Even the senior lounge is clean and quiet. Well, 1 out of 2. In a minute, you're going to sing the alma mater for the last time. Perhaps your voice will crack. Maybe not. There'll be a flourish of flags and banners, and then the class of '87 will be just a memory. This is the day you've been pointing for months, for years. Didn't the countdown to graduation begin sometime in January, or was it earlier? At the same time, although you probably wouldn't admit it to anyone, wasn't there an occasional vague feeling of uncertainty and apprehension? You know, after all, college or graduation means college and freedom and new experiences. But at the same time, it means leaving home and friends and school. You know, maybe you're not ready for college, you say to yourself. Nah, maybe Breck wasn't all that bad. You know, I could put in another year or 2 there. Nah. You know, maybe Peter Pan was right, though, when he said that he'd never grow up. Well, Peter Pan or not, this is your commencement. We've had senior pinning, baccalaureate, prom, and a multitude of other minor events that have led up to this night. And now you are commencing or beginning the rest of your life. But at the same time, the word commencement is in a way inappropriate, because this is a farewell. It's your farewell to childhood. Tonight, for the last time, you're surrounded by the friends of your youth. These are your classmates, your teammates, your playmates, not in the Playboy sense. These are the friends with whom you've shared your joys, your sorrows, your dreams, your frustrations. You've planned together, you've played together, you've laughed together, you've cried together, you've grown up together. After tonight, the capricious winds of fate will scatter the class of '87, never to form again. Sure, there'll be reunions and get-togethers. You'll keep in touch with a few friends, but it'll never be the same. It's like pieces of a giant jigsaw puzzle. Each of you will take with you part of that special spirit that was the character of the class of '87. After your senior party tonight, each of you will go your separate ways. And like Puff the Magic Dragon, the class of '87 will lose its reason for existence. In the years to come, you'll probably look back on your years at Breck with an unexpected wave of nostalgia. It wasn't all that great, but on the other hand, it wasn't all that bad. And maybe as you look back on the perspective of the years, you'll suddenly begin to see some of the good things come shining through. As you recall the people and events that were part of this important part of your life, perhaps the words of a very popular Barbra Streisand song will come to mind and have particular relevance for you. I know it will for my soccer team. For it's the laughter we will remember whenever we remember the way we were. Well, as I said, commencement is a beginning, but it's also a goodbye. It's a chance for you, your friends, and Breck to bid farewell to each other. But it's also a very special occasion for your parents. You see, for them, it's the ceremonial acknowledgement of your passage from childhood. It's a bittersweet moment for them. For on the one hand, they know that you must go and grow. You can't stay. And yet, on the other hand, it seems like just yesterday that you were learning to walk, that you're taking the training wheels off your bike, that you're starting your first day of school. Not all on the same day. You know, things will be very different at home without you next year. The house will be quieter. We'll have a chance to shovel out your room and fumigate it. Certainly the refrigerator will be a lot fuller, but the house will seem a lot emptier. You will be missed. Now, on occasions like this, it is very traditional to offer wise and wonderful advice to the departing graduates. It's traditional and an exercise in futility. As every parent knows, children come equipped as standard equipment with an ARD. Now, for those of you who are not parents, an ARD is an advice, I repeat, an advice rejection device. And it works. Perhaps this mechanism, however, as sensitive as it is and as accurate as it is merely a genetic response to the parent's compulsive advice-giving tendencies. Right? Yeah. Well, whatever the origin, the ARD, the advice rejection device, does reach its optimum efficiency in the teenage years. However, it does come with a lifetime guarantee, as many of us know. So therefore, to avoid the ARD, I shall break tradition, and I would like to offer two hopes for the class of '87 from two of my different roles, first as a faculty member and then as a parent. As a faculty member, I would like to hope for all of you in the class of '87 intellectual curiosity, a lifelong thirst for knowledge and new ideas, the ability to inquire, to perceive, to think for yourself. After all, your diploma is not a license to cease all cerebral activity. It is a passport to explore and to experience. As a parent, I wish you love. Not just as a receiver, but as a giver. If you remember nothing else from my brief talk tonight, remember this: that the greatest thing in life is love. It is the truest miracle, for the more you give away, the more you have. Well, that's it. Intellectual curiosity, love. The rest is up to you. Before I finish, oh, here we go, yes. I would like to recognize a special group of people. They're the unsung heroes of tonight's ceremony. If they happen to look a little bit teary-eyed in the recessional, it's because they're seeing you as a child for the last time. They've given you the two greatest gifts you'll ever receive: the gift of life and the gift of parental love. Parental love has been defined as the love that grows to separation. And this is the moment of separation. Parental love is perhaps the purest form of love, for it is totally unselfish and asks nothing in return except that you pass it on. Well, here we are, ready to send you off. But before we do, since this is an evening of salutes, I would like to offer a salute to the class of '87 from your parents. And since this seems to be a time of having people stand up, I'd like to have all the parents of the class of '87 please rise. Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 1987, our sons and daughters, we salute you. We celebrate your accomplishments. We are tremendously proud of you. As you move into this next phase of your life, we wish you well. May health and happiness accompany you in all that you do. May you live a long and full life, but never, never lose touch with the child that is inside of you. And this, above all, although we may show it in very strange and awkward ways, we love you. Now pass it on.
I invite you now to stand and we will sing together the Breck Alma Mater. Holy God, may your benediction and grace sustain us all by your loving embrace. May the graduates of this class, this centennial class, know your special peace in their lives, your peace that passes all human understanding. Holy God, be with us to give us strength always. Be over us to protect us and keep us from harm. Beneath us to support us on our journey of life. Be in front of us to be our sure guide, and behind us to uphold us when we fall. Let us pause now for a brief centennial moment, and in this silence, surround us with your loving presence, that we might hear the challenging voices of the Breck community, calling us to be persons of wisdom and courage in a new age and for a new generation. Let us pray for a moment of silence. May your blessing, Lord of life, give us energy to be reconcilers in a broken world. Yours is the greatness and the power and the splendor and the victory and the majesty and the glory from generation to generation. Amen.